First of all, disengage all the other strings, and then lift the string that you want to change the cotton away from the wheel, scratch the cotton to one side, and remove every scrap. Now take a block of rosin, again lift the string away from the wheel, lightly rub the rosin against the string, twisting the string as you go. Just puts a fine layer of rosin onto the string, helps the cotton to stick. Now take your piece of cotton, just tease out some nice long strands, depending how much you want to put on. Okay. Now grip this string between the third and fourth fingers in a position where you can bounce it on and off the wheel. Rotate the wheel and introduce the cotton underneath the string. I'm doing this a lot slower than normal to make it clearer. You can see the way that the cotton draws itself out of your fingers and onto the string. So you've now got a really fluffy but well wrapped cotton layer. So now again lift the string away from the wheel, twist it that way.
Hand position of the handle should be roughly right here in your hand. You want your pinky and your ring finger folded under the handle here. Roll your first and your ring finger over the front and your thumb over the top. You want to hold it loosely, fairly loosely. It wants to move around in your hand a bit. Not so loose that it bounces around erratically. Just a little loose. You do not want to squeeze it. You don't want to white knuckle it. You don't want to put your thumb over the top or too far this direction. Hold it loosely in your hand in roughly that position. Okay, this is the tirant. This is the cord on the tirant. This is the trompet string. And that's the dog, or the movable bridge. In order to adjust the tension on this string, you tighten the tirant, and that pulls the tension onto the string. To know whether your dog is adjusted and your tirant is adjusting itself properly, you need to buzz during this process, or attempt to buzz. The perfect setting is the setting in which you can do a very staccato buzz, and also do a coup gras. That's the proper way to adjust the tirant. You want to listen as you buzz to make sure that your buzzing is at the proper playing speed, and that as you are adjusting it, you're not lifting the dog off the soundboard, as too much tension will cause the dog, the movable bridge, to lift up too high and will not touch the soundboard any longer, at which point you need to take the tension off, try it again. Okay, the number one coup is performed in this position. It should be 90 degrees to the ground. You should have your hand on the crank in the position we were talking about earlier, and you're going to just be using your thumb. You do not want to push forward or down with your arm, your whole arm, as pushing forward or down with your entire arm will cause you to slip past the number 2 position and go all the way down to the bottom. You don't want to do that. You just want to subtly push the handle forward with your thumb, almost as if you are trying to throw the handle here down to the ground. That's number 1 coup. The number 2 coup is performed using the first and the middle finger. And when you do that, you're snapping your fingers back towards your hand. You're not yanking them back from a position way forward, but you're just snapping them from in tight. If I were to exaggerate it, so you do not want to yank backwards with your arm. Once again, don't want to do this. You want to snap with your fingers. Okay. The number 3 coup is 90 degrees to the ground, and it is performed with the top of the ring finger here. So when you curl your fingers under, you're going to stick those fingers, that ring finger, underneath the handle here. And as you come around, you're going to loosen those fingers a bit and snap those fingers in towards, not very high, but a little upwards towards the ball of your thumb here. When you do that, it's going to cause your wrist to jerk back just a bit, and that little bit of a jerk is going to cause your instrument to buzz. You do not want to jerk up with your arm. Do not want to do that. You also do not want to tip your wrist down and tip your wrist up. So you do not want to bend your wrist. You just simply want to jerk those fingers. There's another way that people sometimes do this, perform this coup, and that is to twist your wrist a bit. It's the same action, roughly, as snapping your fingers in. You're simply twisting your wrist to do it. Whichever is more comfortable for you, that's the action that you should use. Okay, coup number 4 is performed in the number 4 position, which is actually right about there. You want to use the ball of your thumb to push forward on the handle. The way you do this is you push your hand forward, push your arm forward, and you snap your hand just a bit. If you watch carefully, you can see the tips of my fingers dip. They dip down just a bit, and I bring my hand right back up. So it's dip, and then comes back up. So it's just a little movement. There is a propensity for people to cheat the 4, and that is to pull up and then pull up again. You do not want to do this. You don't want to pull up and then pull up again or twist your wrist. You want to push forward. You do not want to push forward hard enough, though, that you push all the way past the number 1 coup. That's 4. Coup gras. Coup gras is difficult to explain in that it is a controlled buzz, 360 degrees on the wheel. You hold the crank in the same position, although that you hold it with a tighter grip. You don't want it to slip around too much. I also tend to push inwards a bit towards the center of the hurdy-gurdy, and what that does is that allows me to get more control out of it. The tighter grip allows the handle not to flop around in my hand and allows me to buzz consistently in the positions that I want. A coup gras should be performed when you want and started and ended when you want. So, kugra. Simply a controlled buzz all the way around 360 degrees or 180 degrees. Wherever you feel you want to stop it, it should stop there. You should be able to stop and start the buzz at any given point, as well as change the timbre of the buzz as you play. Kugra. I'm going to try to put all of the ku techniques together in one song. The song is called Cypress. And just watch the subtle hand movement as well as when I squeeze the handle in order to do kugra.